All right. So I think first and foremost, happy new calendar, happy new year. I didn't really say that officially, but here is where we're hitting reset. For me, for this particular space, I just wanted Sundays to be a day where we could check in. I wanted to create a safe space just to chat. Let me know, how are you? How was work? How was your week? All of the above. Just a safe space to just be, but also for me to just be the person that I needed. I I'm in solitude now, but I was in a season of isolation for a while. And so it's really important for me to create a space to kind of, I don't necessarily like when people say this, but to check on your strong friends, right? So, but there are no expectations for the space. It's just if you have something to say, maybe you want to vent, maybe you want to pose a question and you don't really have like a circle or a community like that, then just feel free to check in with me on Sundays. I don't necessarily feel loyal to a time because I was supposed to go live later on. I had posted that on my community tab for 7-Eleven random time, but 7-Eleven. But I felt like it was just best fit for me to go a little bit earlier. Also, I like recording like during the day or during the daylight. It gets really dark really early here, and I don't love that for me. So it is my preference to go earlier, but because life happens, it's kind of a little bit unpredictable. But anyway, so I'm in a place of solitude right now. I was in a season of isolation for an extended period of time, and I call it the sunken place. And like if you know, you know, because when you're in that state, it is like the most difficult mental abyss to resurface from. So I I'm giving myself my flowers and I'm just extending it to people who may be experiencing the same things just because life is hard and things happen, life happened. Some things are just inevitable and you got to roll with the punches, but also just creating a space to give yourself permission to just extend grace and to heal and all of those things. All right. So, um yes, so some of you may know today I hit a milestone in my healing journey. So it was absolutely challenging for me to even show up today. I gave myself permission to pause throughout the week, and that has been beneficial. Today is one of the most hardest days, or the hardest day, but I decided that I wanted to challenge myself to show up, and I feel like he would be most proud of me for making that decision. So this is a dedication, somewhat, so to speak. And um, oh, yes, also, I wanted to say that sometimes it's important for us to give ourselves permission to just, I often tell myself that it's okay if sometimes it's okay if all you did today was breathe. Sometimes we put too much expectations, obligations, and all of those things on ourselves, and it's a bit unrealistic. And yeah, we just need to lighten the load. And then the whole reason why I also came on today is just to speak to a reset. For me, I feel like your I feel like your 30-day trial period has expired. Once we hit January 2025, which is why I said happy new calendar year, once we hit January 2025, it's the start of a new year. And for me, that can feel like overwhelming, like cumbersome and heavy, especially because life happens in phases and this tends to be like a grieving season for me. So I just needed to give myself permission to just not do all of the things. And thankful for everyone who showed up for me, thankful for everyone who reached out. I was just kind of in my own solace and I felt like, people were kind of usually expecting me in certain spaces. And so I just did post a message on my community tab just to say that much. But overall, I'm good. Um, yeah, so The spring naturally is the start of a new year for me. That's when nature starts to bloom. So as we're heading into February, that's when I'm hitting the reset button, where I'm starting my plans and preparation. So I gave myself grace for January, and now we're moving forward. Oh yes, and so I also spoke to my no buy year. So I'm going to be going into more details about what that looks like. Usually I'm planning life quarter by quarter. And so I'm going to break that down and then also go into more details about what a no buy year looks like for me. It's not just exclusive to clothing. Yes, I'm not going to be purchasing any new clothes and I'm making sure that I'm maximizing my wardrobe, but it's just extending to my lifestyle as a whole. My goal really is to focus on investing in experiences over things. All right, so I do have some questions. If nobody has any questions, there really aren't too many people on the live right now, but we'll just go over some reflection questions. That's pretty much what I did with my time. Hello, JMG. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions, goals, ambitions for 2025? And I have a note at the top of this. It says money is attracted to purpose, which equals servitude. So that's something that I got from, I recently attended Lori Lux's The Future You workshop, and she spoke on that. In terms of my lip combo for today, I have on Makeup Forever Limitless Brown. Uh, then I then I add a lipstick, which is Juvia's Place Muted, and then I top it with a gloss, which is Tower 28. What is that called? Tower 28. I don't know, the brown one. I think it's called Caramel or something like that. That's like my go-to lip combo. And all of that actually, it should be in one of my shorts on my channel as well. If you're looking for details about nude lip combos, you can find some of them there. All right, so she was talking about money is attracted to purpose, which equals servitude, which I feel like is ideal, an ideal foundation going forward. Thank you very much. Thank you. Um, no questions for me? Yeah, this is just serving as a different space because overall I'm not my clothes. I am more than clothes. I am a person who is into a lot of things and I'm also very educated and experienced. So I also want to lend that part of me to my YouTube space and community. And that's okay if that's not what you came here for, that's not what you signed up for. That's fine. I'm hoping that there's something for everyone in the content that I present to this platform. But honestly, I'm just using today to hold space for anyone and everyone. If you want to tap in, if there's something that you want to talk about, get off your chest, any milestones, positive that or negative that you may want to share, it's just a safe space. I do have some reflection questions for myself. You can feel to chime in as well, just to also take up the space. Okay, so the first one is, what are 3 things you're grateful for from 2024? And I said faith as well as revelation. I feel like for many people, and we unfold in the celebrity world as well, 2024 was a year of exposure. And I definitely saw that in my life as well, where I had to make some decisions, and I feel like I did follow through. And then the last thing was grace. So just, I think that's the theme of 2025 as well, is just extending to myself, not putting on too many responsibilities, expectations, obligations, just a soft life me, please, really. And I know that that phrase is like overused, but it speaks to me because I'm often the strong friend. And at this point, or once you've been through a certain extent, things to a certain extent, that's not necessarily something that you celebrate being strong. I would prefer not to experience the things that have to make me tough in life. And so, absolutely soft life me. Um, what are the simple pleasures that bring me joy each day? For sure, music is a strong part of my daily routine, I guess you would say. I live by my Spotify premium playlist for most days. Right now, I'm really heavily into Christian rhythm and praise or R&B, however you want to break it down. It's just been a guiding light to me in this season where earlier or late last year I was transitioning. It wasn't intentional, but I was transitioning from secular music, and I just identified that I also had a trauma bond, which is something I can speak to a little bit later, but I also identified that I actually have a trauma bond with secular music. And so that's something that I am finding balance in this new season. You can also find a Christian R&B playlist that I am adding to on a daily basis. So it's available on my channel if that's something that you want to explore. And yeah, really, it's just all about the little things. And that's definitely been a game changer for me. How can you give yourself permission slash freedom today? I think that's where grace comes back in and just not overwhelming myself with presentation, how things should be, how I want things to be, overthinking, just really living in the moment. Also, speaking to the fact that self care isn't selfish and solitude is greater than isolation. As I mentioned, currently in a season of solitude. I have been in a season of isolation for an extended period of time, and there are differences. It's really just positive versus negative and how you dwell in that space. Who are you outside of your accomplishments is a question that I had to really sit with. Um, I didn't realize to what extent I attributed my accomplishments to my identity. But when I hit that question, I realized that it's a little bit deeper than I thought. So I think that going forward in this new season, I'm also focused on tapping into my creativity, being a creative, all around creative as a whole. So whatever that looks like. And that's why I decided to just expand more on my channel and speak to myself as a whole. I love clothes. I love putting outfits together. That's tapping into my creativity. I also really like to bake. So I want to get into some more of that content. I typically like to bake from scratch, but I also know that there are some baking hacks that people can get into. We all love food to whatever extent. Cookies have been a craze. So there are ways that you can simplify that process at home. Again, overlapping into my know by year, still having access to the things that you know and love, but not overdoing your budget. And then I'm about to wrap this up, but who are you compared to who you were a year ago? So Last year, this time, I was, for the most part, operating in a shell of myself, and I was living in survival mode. I've been in survival mode for the better part of my life. And so in 2025, I'm just ready for a full reset. All right, I feel like I have literally shed a new skin, and it's just a season of movement. And I spoke to that in one of my videos as well, talking about my words of the year and being intentional all round. All right, so if there are no questions, that's it. That's the check-in. I will see you sometime next week around the same time. Let's just call it Sunday afternoon for now. Otherwise, look forward to my other content throughout the week. I'm hoping to amp it up in this new season. So you're going to see a variety of content. We're going to do the outfits as per usual, but we're just going to get into a little bit more vlogs, a little bit more podcasts, just speaking to me as a person, as a whole. All right. Thank you. Thank you for watching.